Alright, in this video I'm going to be testing out this 6 and 12 volt battery tester. I got it for cars, so it's all going to be 12 volt. But if you had a snowmobile ATV with a 6 volt, something like that, I guess it would work as well. I got it at Canadian Tire. I waited for it to go on sale. If you shop at Canadian Tire, you know if you wait long enough, everything will go on sale, so just wait for a few weeks. MotoMaster has other companies make things for them, so I'm sure this is an identical product to other brands that are out there. So this has 4 features. It has just the general battery test. It can do a 100 amp load test, which is that weak designation. It can check the charging system, which is all the way to the right, which is where it says OK, but on the right side. Obviously this is just for the 12 volt that I'm talking about. And it can also test your starter, although you need to disengage the ignition system, so I'm not going to do that. There's a small plastic screw in the front that's just for adjusting the needle back to 0, and then the on-off button is a big spring-loaded jobby which you're supposed to hold down for 10 seconds for when you're doing your load test. Now, one thing to note, there are differences in expected cold cranking amps at different temperatures, so take that into consideration. I'm doing it at about 0 degrees Celsius. So the first thing I'm going to do is hook up the red lead to the positive and the black lead to the negative. Tester's telling me I'm at about 12.5 volts. And then when I do the load test, it's going to drop real close to that weak category for an 800 cold cranking amp battery, which is what this is. So really on the line for weakness for the battery. Now I do a retest on the battery because the terminals weren't exactly clean, so I do take some electrical contact cleaner, and as usual I use my wife's toothbrush just to clean up the contacts, make sure they're good and they're not fouling up the system. Once again, it's at about 12.5 volts, and then when I do the test, I think it is a little bit better. It is right on that 800 line, a little bit closer to being acceptable for an 800 cold cranking amp battery at this temperature, but still a little bit off. So now I'm going to do the charging system check. To do this, you need the vehicle turned on, turn off the ventilation system, turn off the lights, basically turn off everything that's drawing power in the vehicle. And because I do all my videos solo mio, I'm going to take this woodworking clamp and use it to push the accelerator pedal down. The manual for the battery tester says it needs to be at a high idle, so I'm going to bring it up to 2,000 RPMs. Again, just using a woodworking clamp. Also great if you want to send your vehicle off a cliff with you not in it. And then I'm going to hook up the leads again. Same deal, red on the positive, black on the negative, and check the output voltage of the charging system. So it is reading 14 and a half, give or take a little bit based on this. So pretty good to go. And I'll take out the woodworking clamp. I want to see if there's any difference, and I would say no difference. So maybe the wood clamp wasn't particularly necessary. And the final test I do is throw on the battery charger. Now this battery charger is smarter than I am. It does a whole bunch of fancy stuff to the battery all by itself. But I let it sit for about 2 hours until the little green light turns on and says it's good to go. And then I run the load test again. And then this actually really helped it. So you can see that doing the load test, it's way above the weak line for 800. Anyway, I really like this tester for 30 bucks. It seems like a pretty good deal. And I actually picked it up to do a couple other videos with it. So hopefully in the future there'll be a few more things coming out. Anyway, thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.